Hey, friends! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host, Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey, Hallmarkies! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'm so excited to have back one of my good friends, Dara, from the Dear Hallmark podcast to chat about His and Hers, starring Brennan Elliott, Lacey Chabert, Clayton James, and Stephanie Bennett. It was written by Joie Botkin and directed by Linda Lisa Hayter. Married lawyers Dana and Mark represent reality stars entangled in a bitter divorce, leading to complications when their client's inability to compromise strains the couple's own relationship. Welcome back to the podcast, Dara.
Thank you for having me. It's such I enjoy you. So thank you so much for
Oh,
allowing me back. And
it's always fun to
I
have you
miss
on.
this. Yeah, I miss
Yes, I've
this.
missed it too. And I think this will be a very fun movie to chat about.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
What were your first impressions or hot takes on His and Hers?
Ooh, so as much as I love my small town romances, I equally love my big city corporate romances as
Mm-hmm.
well. So that was something that first attracted
Mm-hmm.
me to this movie and that I was kind of all in on is them being in the
Mm-hmm.
city. We're staying in the city, and our leading lady and man are corporate workers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I loved about it. But I would say my hot take is that the more that I watched it, the weirder it got towards the end for me. Like it, I didn't expect it to end the way that it did, Nicole. I think and sometimes we always have one
Mm-hmm.
idea of will end, and not to say that maybe I should have managed my expectations, but
Mm-hmm.
really they pulled a fast one on me. I was
Mm-hmm.
not expecting that ending to be the
No.
way that it was. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know how I feel about that." So I think that played a part
Mm-hmm.
into my first watching experience of it. But I mean, you have Lacey and Brennan. So
Uh-huh.
it's still going to be a hit.
Boom. Boom. Their
Boom. Like
chemistry is boom.
it's just like you can't like they are literally one of the best power couples on the network. Like
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, like you don't get any better than Lacey and Brennan. Like it's you're gonna get a home run every time. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed the ride as quirky and kooky as it was. Like I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it during
Yeah.
it. Yeah, what
Yeah.
about you? What were some of your first impressions of it?
So, of course, the wonderful dynamic with the entire cast. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that Brennan and Lacey played off of Clayton and Stephanie so well
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Agreed.
together.
I yes. Yes, indeed. I love how like Clayton and Stephanie, I feel like they really just had fun with
Yeah.
their characters because of how outlandish their characters were.
Oh,
Like Clayton in the gym.
like that one line. I think it was somewhere maybe close to the middle of the movie when
Mhm.
they're in the gym and Mark is talking to him about something, and Brett's like, "Do you lift, bro?"
Right? He's just like, and it's like, and I know you can see Mark just like rolling his eyes, like, oh my gosh, I'm here again, like talking to him about business in the gym. And it was just, he really, I forget Clayton's character's name, but he really
Brett.
did not, Brett did not care one iota. He was just like,
Nope. Nope.
oh, the gym scenes were among the funniest for me for his character. I think this was the first time they were trying to do mediation, or the second time, and Mark was like, "So are you gonna, you gonna play nice?" And he was like, "No,
Oh,
like I want to take it for everything she got." That was
oh my
really funny.
goodness. Fantastic script from Joie and directing from Linda Lisa. Of course, the Postables know Linda Lisa for her work with The Vows We Have Made, A Tale of Three Letters, and Coming Up to the Moon and Back, and a lot of other wonderful Hallmark movies too out in the
That
universe.
is awesome.
Yes. Love the married couple storyline and all the romantic moments between Mark and Dana. And the pet names for each other melt my heart.
So adorable. So adorable. Just like even
Oh.
I love that they took each moment to show affection towards one another.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there wasn't a scene where they didn't hug or have some
Yeah.
time, well,
Some
except for
type
when
of
they were,
fighting.
but
Yeah.
like I feel like they still you could still
Mm-hmm.
feel the affection and the love that they had for one another even while they
Yeah.
were fighting. Like you could still feel it, and I like that.
Yes. I love how Hallmark is dipping their toes into married storylines more and more lately. I think it's very much
Agreed.
needed. I'm not married, but I know that
Neither am I.
a lot of
Yeah.
people are and can relate to
Yes.
some of these stories in these movies. So it was very important.
Yes. I completely agree. Even like the second iteration of the Wedding Veil trilogy, like how we got to see each of those
Mm-hmm.
couples
Yeah.
already married. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a space for that, like to
Yeah.
have those movies where the
Mm-hmm.
couple's already married. Like I think that's even like the cases of Mystery Lane, like where
Mm-hmm.
they're
Yeah.
already married, or garage sale mysteries. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
there's definitely a space for that for sure.
Yeah. A love story doesn't end at a wedding.
In fact, I would say it's just beginning.
It's just the beginning. Yes.
It's just the beginning. Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Also, question: do
Yes.
process servers normally take photos as proof?
Okay, can we talk about that? Because the way they were just all up in their face, like right after, like, here you go. And it's just like, wait, what?
I've
I've
never heard
never,
that.
me neither. Now, mind you, Suits isn't realistic, but
No.
Suits is one of my favorite shows. And they served a lot of people. Like, it wasn't a matter of them taking a picture as much as it was them receiving the document and that person being the witness that they received it. Because
Mm-hmm.
that took me for a loop. Like Nicole, they were
Mm-hmm.
all up in your face, just like
They were
boom,
like,
like you got
I was like, okay. And I don't have the lines written down, but when Brett and Tabby are recording themselves talking about being served, when Tabby's like, I feel so violated.
She's like, girl, it's dramatic. The Oscar goes to. Oh man,
They were
that was
too
wild.
much, but
That was wild.
they also added a lot to the story, I think.
I would you say that Brennan and Lacey were still the leads because of how strong Brett and Tabby were as characters? Like, would you say it's more of an
Hmm.
ensemble, or would you say that Mark and Dana were still more so the leads of that movie?
I'd say it's an ensemble.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say it's an ensemble. I would. I think between Mark and Dana, Brett, Tabby, and
Hmm.
then you have the respective law firms.
Hmm.
Like I feel like
Hmm.
it was
Yeah.
a full, like I think all of the cast really were on the
Yeah.
same playing field. Like because they and Mark and Dana each had their mentors or like their senior partners that they worked with.
Hmm.
Um Dana with her uncle, and then what's her name? Joyce, the
Lois.
Mark's
Lois.
Lois. Lois. She reminded me so much of the one of the ladies from Suits, like the way they dressed her, her mannerisms.
Hmm.
I was like, she took a page. It looked like she took
Wow.
a page right out of Suits, but I loved it. I thought she was
Yes. Yeah, she was
pretty
great.
cool.
And she's been in a lot of Hallmark movies over the years.
Yes, she has. Yes, she has. She's one of those
Yes.
like, oh, a familiar face, you know?
Yes. Yes. And another familiar face for the Hardys who watched this movie, Garwin Sanford, who played Elizabeth's father, William Thatcher, in season 2 and season 5 of When Calls the Heart.
Oh wow. Who was his
Yes,
character in the movie?
Uncle Paul.
Oh, he played Lacey. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. That's really cool that they were able to bring in like Italian like that. I think that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. What did you think about their relationship? So the uncle niece dynamic between
I
them.
like that it was an uncle niece and not a father daughter. Like
Yeah.
I because I think that aspect of familial relationships isn't explored a lot.
Mm-mm.
Um and especially because I'm an aunt now, like seeing how close I am
Aw.
with my nieces, like I love them dearly. And
Aw.
so I love seeing that aspect of
Mm-hmm.
relationships, whether it's aunt to niece, aunt to nephew, uncle to niece, uncle to nephew. Like I appreciate those relationships. And I thought that you could tell there was love there too.
Mm-hmm.
And that her uncle really took her under his wing in terms of
Mm-hmm.
law. I love that. I thought their dynamic was really cute. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I did too. And I loved all the scenes between them, when he was being supportive of her. Like, you've got this, you
Yeah.
can do it. Really sweet dynamic between them.
And I loved even the little scene of him asking her like which flowers and then
Yes.
him giving her the flower. I thought that that was
Yep.
just really a cute touch.
Yes.
I thought that was really adorable.
Yes. And this is not the first time that Garwin has played a corporate kind of character. Like on When Calls the Heart,
Really?
William Thatcher is a big shipping tycoon in the bigger city,
Oh,
Cape
wow.
Fullerton or Hamilton. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's
interesting little
cool.
similarity there.
Yeah, again, another tie-in. That's really, really cool.
And I'm sure I'll get into it more as we talk about some of these scenes. But
Hmm.
as I was watching this movie live on premiere night, I found a lot of similarities between this movie and Signed Sealed with just some of the things.
Really? Please
Like,
talk about it. I gotta know.
okay, so of course, have you seen Three Letters yet? If you have not seen it, I'm not going to spoil it. So,
I haven't seen it. Don't, no,
okay,
don't come for me, please. I'm sorry.
okay, then I will not spoil it. But
Okay.
this is very difficult to say without giving anything away.
What's so what scene of the movie reminded you the most about SSD?
There are two. Okay. So this one I don't think is really giving anything away because it's kind of clear from the synopsis of Three Letters that this
Hmm.
happens. The fight. There is a fight in Three Letters between Shane and Oliver, but it's even more
Okay.
intense than this one. And then there's
Oh,
another
okay.
scene, which I'm not going to
Okay.
say that one because it will literally give away the end of Three Letters if I say it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
all the postables who have seen it and watched this movie, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
man, that makes me nervous. Oh my gosh. Do we have any idea when the next because
Mm-mm.
I know they shot two. There's no idea
Nope. Just
when that other
2025.
one was gonna.
That's a long time.
We're gonna have
They
47 movies
better
between that
give
time.
us more after To the Moon and Back. They better.
They need to have it lined up at this point. They need to have
Mm-hmm.
it just
Yeah.
one every other month at this point.
Yes.
At this point.
Yes. And I was going to wait until we got to some of these scenes, but I'll go ahead and bring it up. One other thing that
Sure.
reminded me specifically that I can think of off the top of my head of Signed Sealed was when they
Mhm.
were outside, I guess, Gwen's apartment complex waiting for her the first time. So Mark walks up to her and he says, "Of all the tenements in the world, you just had to walk into mine." Where have we
Yes.
heard that before? Of all the coffee shops in all the world. Wait, no. Of all the coffee shops in all the towns in all the world,
All the
you
world.
walked into mine.
I
Oliver
love
O'Toole in the pilot movie. Touche.
Now,
That's
I
also a
haven't seen the pilot.
Casablanca reference too.
Okay, I figured it was a like a feature film reference,
Mm-hmm.
but I did
Mm-hmm.
not remember that from the. It's so cool that you can make callbacks like that. Like that's really I would never have pulled that line out
Oh,
from that pilot. That's really cool.
oh, thanks. But yeah, that's where
Yeah.
Martha got that reference
Got you.
that she
Okay,
used from the
okay.
pilot movie, Casablanca.
Okay. Got you.
Of all the
I've
gin
never seen it.
joints in all the world, you
Okay.
walked into mine. And that's from
Okay.
Casablanca.
Okay. Okay, that
But
makes sense.
yes,
Not a movie I've ever seen. I
it's
gotta step
actually
up
been a
movie game.
long time since I've seen Casablanca. I actually think I watched it in film class in 10th grade.
You had a film class in 10th grade?
I took film
You're
studies
cool.
first semester. Oh,
You're
and then
cool. What?
filmmaking second semester.
What? In high school?
It was fun. I had a great time.
That's so cool. That's fascinating. My high school was too new for us to have niche
Oh,
classes like that because they were still trying to figure out how to be a school. So it's
oh,
like they
it was
didn't
fun.
have the yeah, that sounds so awesome.
It was really fun. And
Man,
I
I wish I had some.
I loved my teacher, Mr. Neal.
Yeah.
Great.
Nicole,
Yes.
I'm gonna deviate a little bit. How did you get into Hallmark? Like how did you start watching Hallmark?
When I was a kid, I always remember occasionally watching the Hallmark Christmas movies, but
Hmm.
I never started watching on a regular basis until I started watching When Calls the Heart in 2017.
Oh wow. I've heard that be a lot of people's gateway into
Mm-hmm.
Hallmark movies was When Calls the Heart.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What made you want to say, well, let me watch these movies after watching When Calls the Heart?
I guess I just really got into it. I
Yeah.
can't exactly, pinpoint an exact reason, but I've always loved the type of content that Hallmark puts out. So I was like, well, why not start watching Hallmark movies?
Yeah. And then you started watching Signs Still Delivered.
Yep, in February of 2021. So I was a very late to the game festival, as well
No,
as a
man, I
very,
am the latest.
as well as a
Was it
very
last year?
late to the game Hardy.
Mhm.
I came in season
No,
4 of When
listen,
Calls the Heart.
that's still pre Jack's death. So I feel
Yeah,
like you still made the cut. So and I only know that from listening to other people's podcasts. Like I haven't even watched the series. So I've just been hearing it from
yeah,
different, like that's how I keep up is from other people. But that's
yeah.
cool. Okay.
Oh,
What are some of your
thanks.
favorite Hallmark movies? Like what are like
Oh
your
gosh.
start like if you like tomorrow is a rainy day and you're like, I want to watch some of
Mm,
my comfort Hallmark movies. What are
That
like
is
three?
that is a really tough question because
I know it's the hardest. But like if you had to do like a gun draw, like what are like the first three that'll just like boom,
it
these are the three.
mm, so if I had to pick right off the bat, one would be How to Fall in Love with Eric Navius.
Oh, that one.
Two, this is really difficult. I think since it's coming to mind, since we're talking about Brendan and Lacey, and it is actually one of my favorite Hallmark movies, All of My Heart. And
Yes. Classic.
I'll pick one from this year, Blind Date Book Club.
Can we that one was so cute.
Yes.
I've never known that about you, so I wanted to ask because I was just
Oh, that's okay.
curious
Oh, that's,
how you got into Hallmark watching.
oh, that's all good. We got a little down the rabbit hole with our conversation, but that's okay. That's what makes these episodes fun. Back to His and Hers. I would actually love a sequel with these characters.
Oh, and then what do you see as the sequel? Like how do you see the sequel going?
Um, hmm. Well, of course, seeing Mark and Dana raise their son or daughter and, become parents. And then this was talked about on Twitter, would love to see a story with TJ and Gwen because they were great with just the one scene we got with them together as a fake couple.
He switched up real quick at the end. It was like, where did all that charisma come from? Because at first he was like happy-go-lucky. Yeah, I'm on like off Broadway with the Broadway of Atlantic City or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, I don't have to act when it comes to playing her. I was like, where did that come from?
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah. I think it would be fun to see where the story goes next with these characters. Moving into highlights, did you have any notable moments you wanted to mention?
The gym scenes, man. I gotta go back to it. Like those were just some funny scenes. And then this is so like small and significant, but when Tabby was answering the door, when she was about to get served the papers and the way she was walking because she painted her toes, like the whole reality of that scene, and she's just like, oh, I don't want to get my toes messed up. Like stuff like that. I was like, yo, she's having so much fun with this character. And I love that. And then I have to say, one of the like highlights was when Mark, he was at the restaurant opening up what he thought was his background check, but it was actually Dana's.
Will Kemp.
That I laughed so loud. I'm sure I disturbed my neighbors and I probably should have apologized because I laughed. So I was just like, that was brilliant. That was so brilliant. I loved it. I loved it.
I have to mention while we're talking about references, all the other little Easter eggs we got, like Dana working on the crossword, and
which I didn't even pick up at first until people said it. I was like,
Logan O'Connor or Logan. The name Logan was.
It totally like. And when I watched it a second time, that's when I was like, yo, I didn't even realize that's what she wrote in the crossword. Like, I just, it's the little touches, the little things.
And then, of course, all of my heart references. Like, there's one point in the movie where they're at home and he says that she has all of his heart. And then they talk about the goats at another point.
It's the goats. It's the goats. He's like, I know you love baby goats.
Love it.
Oh, that was so cute. Yes. So cute.
I just have to say really briefly, the beginning of the movie, when Brett and Tabby are telling the press not to take photos, and then they proceed to pose for photos. You're like, no photos.
They were fishing. Yeah. They were fishing for it because it's like, as soon as someone says no photos, they think they're going to give them photos because they say it, but it's like, no, they really want photos. Trying to play it off. That was funny.
I also loved the 7th anniversary dinner at the beginning and the gifts that they gave each other. That was so cute. The 7-year
I like
gift.
That they were, like they split it up into like 7 days or something. Like they took the whole week to celebrate their anniversary and then gave each other a gift I thought that was really, really cool.
Merino wool socks from Mark to Dana, and then from Dana a copper pot to make popcorn
for her because
for her. Yes, that was cute. And then one of my favorite lines in this scene, this has been the best 7 years ever. Hopefully the best is yet to come. To forever together.
So adorable.
Yeah. Yes.
So adorable. Yeah.
Also, can I just point out the Nordstrom Rack reference about Dana's shoes? Because Tabby asks Dana if her shoes are from a certain place. And Dana's like, no, they're from Nordstrom Rack.
Like, I love a good Nordstrom Rack. They're
We
great.
have one here. We have one here.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, I just thought that was very clever. And then her wanting the green juice with nori chips on the side and an LED face mask to wear during their chat. Like, high maintenance much?
And then you see how they tied that in with Mark when he was meeting Brett for the first time. He was like, "What? You want some nori chips and an LED face light?" Ugh.
He's like, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, dude.
Like, no, get him some water.
Also,
That's that LA for you.
did you catch Mark's reaction when he was meeting Brett? You know, he walks in and Brett's doing his 500 push-ups and Mark's just like,
Yes.
Okay. Like, alrighty then.
It actually looked like like when he got up, it looked like Brennan wanted to laugh. It felt like he was holding back a laugh at one point during that interaction. He was just like, "Yo, this dude is crazy." Listen, Clayton James, man, that he got in the role.
Yes. And he was also on When Calls the Heart as Kevin the blacksmith way back
Oh,
in some of the earlier seasons. Yeah.
Wow.
And Stephanie,
That's
of
cool.
course, 9 Lives of Christmas, 9 Kittens of Christmas. She played Kimberly's daughter in Dark of Night on Signed Sealed.
She also did Wedding Season last year. She was a lead in.
Yeah. They're both great. Yeah. I had to roll my eyes and facepalm at Brett's comment when he was like, I'm not happy, so why should she be happy? Is it one of the most important things in a marriage? Your partner being happy?
Not when you're selfish.
No, apparently not.
Not when all you think about is yourself, because clearly misery loves company. Clearly.
And he wants to sue her on emotional damages. What?
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yes. I loved when Mark and Dana are at home and they turn on the TV and they see Brett and Tabby.
The first time?
Yes, the first time when they're talking about getting the divorce. The reactions, the facial expressions were priceless. They were perfection.
Wait, do you know that? Like, and then it's like some stuff is starting to click, but it doesn't click all the way. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
I thought it was sweet and thoughtful how Mark offers to step down from the case. Yeah. And Dana says no because of him potentially becoming partner.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Like, again, they put their marriage before anything. Like, you could tell how much they loved each other. They cared about each other. Yeah. And they made each other a priority. Like, that was more, they were more important than whatever else was going on with the case.
Yeah, very true. And then we get a scene with them at dinner and his reaction to her in the dress from the Noble collection was you were the most beautiful woman I have ever seen, and you keep getting more and more beautiful. Nope, my heart, Brennan Elliott. And Mark, of course, his character Mark. Yeah.
Man, I mean, the words. What can you say? What can you say?
So sweet. And then, of course, he gives her the orchid flower and promises to take her to the orchid festival. And he shares what he's wanted to ask her, which is that he wants to revisit the idea of them having children. And before that, you know, Dana is a little worried that it's something bad. And Mark's like, nothing too life-altering. Having a kid is life-altering.
Absolutely.
And I love how Dana says that. She's like, well, having a kid is life-altering.
For both of us. Both of our lives. One of the things I loved was when they were like, as they were talking about having the kid throughout the movie, they
Mm-hmm.
were also simultaneously talking about getting a dog
Dog.
and the different dog, like what was it, like Rambo, Oliver,
Rambo.
like the different names. Yeah. I think he wanted Rambo, she wanted like Oliver or something.
Yes,
Um,
that was what it was.
yeah.
Yeah. Oliver, that was another thing.
And I thought about Oliver O'Toole.
Yes. I'm sure that all these similarities are not on purpose because, of course, the movies are from two different writers and
Yeah.
it was just coincidence, but still kind of
Our
cool.
it's our Hallmark brain. Like if we, if there's a character with that name, our
Yeah.
Hallmark brain's gonna go to it for sure.
Yeah. I think Rambo, no, I haven't seen it, but I think Rambo, the name of the dog, the German
Hmm.
Shepherd, is a reference to a movie
Yes.
called Rambo.
Yes, with Sylvester Stallone. Yes.
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 And actually, every time I hear the name Rambo, I don't know if you've seen this movie. I think of the movie Mannequin with Andrew McCarthy and Kim Cattrall from the 80s. And in that movie, the security guard, his dog's name is Rambo.
Oh, wow. Your callbacks are spectacular.
And
Your callbacks are spectacular.
thank you. But if you've not watched that movie, you should. It
I
is
haven't.
a classic rom-com. And the security guard in the movie is a trip. Like he hikes his pants up all the way to his
Is
waist.
it like a mannequin coming to life? Is that what it's
Yes.
about?
Yes.
Well, okay, because Lifetime did a Christmas movie based off that same thing where a girl named Holly wanted the perfect man, and a mannequin from the store comes to, and Ryan McPartlin actually plays the
That's awesome.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. Okay.
It's a great movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. And of
Okay.
course, Kim Cattrall is the lead, so she plays the mannequin that comes to life.
Oh, she plays the mannequin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, that's it. And Kim Cattrall, is she from Sex and the City?
I think, but don't quote me on that because I've never
Because that
watched
name
Sex in the
sounds
City.
familiar. Okay.
Yes.
That name sounds familiar. That's all.
Yes. She's an A-list actor. I mean,
Okay.
she's been in the business a long time, but
Okay.
I've never watched Sex in the City, so I wouldn't know for sure.
Me neither, but I've heard her.
Yeah.
I've heard her name
Yes,
linked
her name
to.
is very well known. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Andrew McCarthy is the male lead in that movie. Great movie.
Cool. Cool.
And the very popular song, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. You know, we
Yeah.
can build this dream together. Yeah, that's from that movie. Or
Sing it,
it was
Nicole.
in that movie. No, I'm not gonna sing. But anyway, going back to the movie, the Dr. Doug show. And I'm bringing this up because I have to read Dana's line when she is pretending to be Joanne Washoe in Boise, Idaho.
Can you do her accent?
I probably can. Let me get into character. Hang on. Okay. Hi. I just want to say it is such a heartbreak to be betrayed by the love of your life and your best friend who you trusted the most. I mean, but for you to admit you have made some mistakes and to take responsibility. I mean, to be human, it is just, well, you are a hero to me. I mean, bless your heart. You are such a strong and yet vulnerable role model. That was probably not the best, but
Bravo! Roses, roses. That was so good. That was so good. And
thank
then
you.
you just see a pan up of Mark standing there, just like finding her out.
I loved his reaction to that. That was perfection.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And before he walks over to where she is, I love the look on his face of realization, like, that's
Dana.
Dana.
He was like, yep,
That's my wife.
Yeah, he's like, I know that. Yes. I love that moment too. That's such a special moment. Yes, indeed.
Gosh, but I think that was one of the most comical moments from the movie for me.
Yeah.
Now we talked about Dana's background check. We have not talked about Mark's. He was arrested for a day for trespassing. What?
He went to jail. Look how in the way Lacey delivered that line, she was like, "You're in jail." He was just like, "It's just my daddy." Like that whole exchange was funny. It was so funny.
I love when she opens the background check at home and then, she finds out and then she puts it back in the envelope and then she slams the envelope on the kitchen island and she's like, "Oh, you're going to get it now."
He's going to get it. But then like after they have that fight and then it's like they take a beat and then they come back and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I love you. You know, I didn't mean anything." Like again, like so showing that affection, like they always came back to each other.
Yes.
That was cute.
Gonna ask what you thought about the conflict in this movie with them, like the fight that they had.
I feel like it showed the beauty in marriage where you can do that, like how that is possible, that in real life you can disagree on some things, you can be on opposite sides on some things, but you can still put that aside to come back to each other and still prioritize each other. And much like what you were saying, like we need to see, like I hope they do more movies where the couples are married so that we can see that, because normally in movies where they aren't married and they're working towards that, the conflict either breaks them up or like they like they it's just like, oh well, it's over. Like we don't actually see a healthy showing of already being in a long-term committed relationship, like this covenant of marriage, and then you working through difficulties, you know what I mean? So I like that a lot.
I did
not
too.
that I didn't like the conflict, you know what I mean? But like I like that there was resolution quickly to it and we didn't stay there. So
I said on my interview with Brennan that of course I love the romantic scenes, but I do enjoy the conflict scenes too, because seeing the characters go back and forth with each other, I think it's fun to watch because it's also very real. I mean, relationships aren't sunshine and roses all the time. So
that's true. And I know us as Hallmark watchers, at least I'll speak for me, I go to Hallmark for sunshine and roses, but I know sometimes having that dose of reality in between the sunshine and roses, it makes it more relatable and more impactful. So I like that a lot.
And I also love, I think you mentioned it, that they came back after the brief argument and they said, "This isn't us." And they hugged it out.
Yeah.
They worked things out.
Agreed.
And then the next morning, I chuckled when she finds the text from Gwen and then follows him to the coffee shop. And then she hides behind the magazine and the guy sitting at the table is just like, "You stole my magazine." Like,
I was thinking, how could he not hear her in those heels? She had on some high heels, and the way she was like click clacking down the hill, and much like he knows his wife's voice, like like you're getting used to someone's walking pattern. Like even at my job, I know when my mentor is walking down the hall because I know I know her walking pattern. So I'm wondering if like he could, or maybe it was just too loud because of the city. I don't know. But like I'm like, he couldn't hear her walking behind him that whole time. It's just like, nope, he was going to get his coffee.
He did turn around at one point, and I do wonder if he actually had an inkling that she was behind him.
Yeah. Because why would he turn around,
But it's even like that here at home. I know my mom and my dad and my brother's walking patterns. Like when I'm downstairs, I know who it is coming down the stairs by the way that they walk down the stairs.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm referencing. Exactly what I'm referencing. Yes. Yes, indeed. When I had roommates, I knew who was coming down the steps just by how fast they were, like the Kate, like all of that. Yes. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
indeed.
I also loved this scene with Mark and Dana at home when he offers to quit his job and stay at home with the baby, or they take turns. And then this is when we get the mention of the German Shepherd Rambo. And I love when Dana says, "Our puppy sounds like he just got back from Nam. I don't even like
Yes.
Rambo."
And then he was like, well, I gotta sit here and watch Steel Magnolias like
Yes,
every night.
that
Like,
was
give
another
me,
good reference.
yes. He was like, give me something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There were a lot of references in this movie so far.
Yeah. I haven't even watched Steel Magnolias, but I know it's a very popular show. And I thought it was cool that they
Yes.
brought that into the movie in some
Yeah,
way.
same.
And then the dinner scene when they're talking about moving to Hawaii, going to court, and Brett coming to the gala. I love when they're talking
Oh,
about going
yes.
to court and Judge Clark,
Yes.
how she
Yes.
likes her sports analogies. And Dana says, I'm going to go something like, oh, this case is a slam goal and par for the field. No,
Talk about a mix of metaphors. That's a mix of sports.
slam dunk and par for the course.
Right, right, right.
And then the gala. I loved the gala scenes. What did you think
Lacey has
about
been in
those?
some of the best dresses lately, like starting with the wedding veil.
Yes.
And that reminds me, Wardrobe Girls did his and hers, the
Yes, they
same
did.
people who did Wedding Veil. So it's just like these women never miss when it comes to galas or corporate
No,
shindigs, parties. Like they, oh, I love the dress so much. It was
mm,
so beautiful.
the costumes in this movie.
So beautiful, so sharp. Like they were
Yes.
the right ones for the job. They were the
Yes.
right ones for the job.
Yes. There were a couple of Dana's outfits that I would totally wear.
Absolutely. Same for me. Same for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Okay, how awkward was Tabby calling Dana her best friend? She's like, my best friend, my rock. It's like,
It's like, please stop. It's like, please. You barely known her for 2 weeks. Like, come
yeah.
on.
And then we get a sweet little moment with Dana and Mark when she says, there's no one on the planet I would rather fight with than you. And then Brett shows up and
And the whole thing.
everything gets crazy. Tabby still thinks he looks great in a tux. You know, this is when Dana is asking if she still finds anything redeemable in him. And she's like, well, he still looks great in a tux. Tabby, it's not all about looks.
Hello. That's what got us into this mess in the first place.
And then he talks to the press, Brett, that is. And referring to Mark, he says he'd rather be on our side than the opponents. And I was like, oh, no, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And Dana's like, excuse me?
It's like, no, I never said that. Like, I never said that at all.
And then the flirting with Tabby. And I love Mark and Dana's reactions. Dana's like, what's happening?
They both just like, wait, what?
What's happening? And then, of course, they get into a fight and things get crazy. They're hiding millions of dollars from each other and they don't know it. Of
Can we
course.
talk about that? Because
Yeah.
as the movie went on, things just got wilder and wilder. Tabby owed Gwen money. Then they were hiding money from each other. And it's like, who's telling the truth? Like, that was something that just was like, wait, this is a real mystery wrapped into
A
this
romance
movie
rom-com.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like trying to figure out what exactly is going on with all of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Something is fishy
Yes, in
with
New York
that.
City.
Yes. Yep. And can we talk about the court day. Tabby talking about her outfit. She's like, I think it screams, I deserve all the marital property.
This, she has no clue. Like, zero.
And
Total,
then
no clue.
Dana asks for a brief recess due to new evidence brought to attention that would affect the financial structure of the settlement. And we already know what that is from what we heard at the gala the night before. But I love when she says, I'm sure the court would hate to see us punt rather than trying an end around. So she used the sports analogy on the judge.
And she used it right. Because you see Mark just like, all right, she got it.
Yeah, way to go. Yeah. And
Yes.
we find out Gwen opened a Pilates studio / method acting workshop, Gwen's Glutes. And, she doesn't want to go into court. She doesn't want to, spill what's
Spill
actually
any of the
going on.
beans. Yeah.
But, Dana kindly tells her, if you don't, then I'll say what I think is going on.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Gwen gets to the courthouse. Tabby's not happy. She's like, what is she doing here? You were my best friend. You stole my husband. And, Gwen's trying to defend herself. And she says that all the time that she spent with Brett was him talking about how much he loved Tabby and wanted to fix the rift and win her back. And then we get them working things out.
Or so we think.
And reproposes. He reproposes to her, and she's like, of course I'll marry you again. You're all invited to the wedding. Or you could buy a signed wedding photo. Or bid on a wedding photo. I was like, oh boy.
But that's really, though, like how some weddings go nowadays with social media influencers and a lot of people in reality TV, like they monetize their wedding.
Yes.
Like they get sponsorships from a lot of these brands and won't have to pay a dime because they've used their wedding as material for a reality show or for a magazine article, so that way whoever designed the dress or did the cake or planned the event gets a credit or a nod in the magazine article or whatever. Like that's so real.
Also, when they said in reference to Mark and Dana, Brett and Tabby were like, they pressured us into getting a divorce. I'm like, oh no, they didn't. That was you.
It was just like nothing ever happened. Like, what just happened? They're just like, what? Were y'all even on Earth? Like, what just happened?
And then we find out, of course, when Mark and Dana are home later that night, they're watching TV. And of course, who shows up?
With a new TV show.
Other than Brett and Tabby announcing their new marriage counseling reality show, Noble Love. I had to do it.
Oh, I was just like, when I saw that, I was like, man. But that, again, that's art imitating life, because that happens.
I love how Mark and Dana look at each other like they did not play us. But they did.
Oh, but they did.
So they show up to Gwen's the next day, and Mark says something along the lines of, Gwen, you don't want to mess with lawyers. And Dana says, we serve injunctions for breakfast. That was a classic roast comment.
You like that?
So, of course, it was all a publicity stunt. Brett and Tabby haven't been able to sell a show in a while. So they came up with the fake fight. They paid Gwen to go along with it and promised to buy the Pilates studio, then made her the villain. That is a no-go.
And then the bosses were in on it.
Yeah.
And
okay.
so
Can we talk about that?
please do.
I
Because
was
I'm
like,
like,
what?
so I'm going through all of this people wrangling for nothing. It's all a stunt. They should have got a raise. They should have got a bonus. They should have
Yeah.
got like overly financially compensated for that. Because that was a waste of everybody's time.
Yes. I mean, they did say that they didn't know in the beginning, and had they known it was going to get that far, they wouldn't have allowed it. But still, like, come on.
It still happened. I need my money. Because that was like billable hours. That's crazy.
And I think this is my favorite Mark and Dana scene of the movie. And it's one of the last ones. It's when they're at home and they're watching Noble Love while eating popcorn. And Mark's line, they don't need noble love. They need tough love.
Because he's right.
Yes.
Because he's right. Yep.
And then TJ and Gwen pretend to be married and have the same exact issues as Brett and Tabby to, try to get them to confess. And another facepalm moment when Tabby says, trust is the foundation of love, Brett, and love needs trust the way sunshine and flowers need each other. Okay, yes, those are great quotes, but coming from them, I'm like,
it's the messenger. It's the messenger. It does not work.
like, come on now. Oh my gosh. You two just faked a divorce. So you're not the one to talk.
For money. And hiding money from each other.
Nope.
Talk about trust.
Yes. But what I really loved about this scene was the last few moments when Dana is saying, there isn't much that's certain in life, but you're as close as it gets. I wouldn't want any other life than the life I have with you, whatever that looks like. I think the most important decision we make is who we share our life with. And I would make this decision 1,000,000 times over exactly the same.
Beautiful. Oh, that's such beautiful writing. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
And of course, the kiss between Mark and Dana was really sweet too.
Yeah, agree.
And then it cuts to the last few scenes. Mark and Dana decide to resign at their law firms and start a new law firm together, which I loved. And then 1 year later, time jump, Mark got Dana an 8th anniversary gift, which is a baby onesie that says, don't drop me, my parents are lawyers.
I think that's so cute. Now, I wasn't expecting, like, because of what they were talking about in terms of like moving out of the city, I wasn't expecting them to start their own law firm. I wasn't
either.
Like that really took me by surprise. So I can see how that would be a jumping off point for a sequel. Like, do they continue with their own law firm? Is it like the rom-com version of Darrow and Darrow, like where we see the inner workings of, someone doing their own law firm or whatever. We get some like quirky cast of characters or whatever. That would be cool.
I think so too. And of course, the moment between them at the very end when, Mark, along with Dana, feels the baby move and he says, it's a prosecutor.
So cute. Yes. So cute.
I thought it was a cute little reveal for the baby.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. 100% agree. That was very cute.
Yes. Such a great movie. And moving into our ratings, what would you rate this on a scale of 5 for cast?
Oh, cast 5.
5, yep, that's what I was going to say. Chemistry?
5.
5. Setting?
5.
5. Story?
4.
I was going to say 4.5. Yeah.
Okay.
And overall?
4.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give it 4.5. It was really good. One of my favorites of the year.
Yeah, it was a strong start because this
Mhm.
was the first movie for Fall Into Love, and I think it was a
Yeah, I
very
think it was. Yeah.
strong start. Like right out the gate, I was like, "Let's go,
Yeah.
let's fall into love, let's do it."
Yes. I'm sad that Brendan won't have a Christmas movie this year, but
I'm so upset.
it's
I'm so
understandable.
upset.
It's
I
understandable.
know.
He did talk about it when I interviewed him, so I totally get the
Yeah,
reason why.
but
Fingers crossed for
still,
next year. Yeah.
hopefully we get him like in a Valentine's Day or something or other, like
Yeah.
early in the
Yes.
new year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Fingers crossed. Yeah. I know he mentioned he's got some stuff coming up that he can't share yet. So I'm excited to find out what that is.
yeah, yes, indeed.
Yes. And I would love to see Brendan and Lacey together again in another movie in the future. Of course.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Of course. Well, this is so much fun, Dara. Thank you for joining me for
Nicole, thank you
His and
for
Hers.
having me.
Of course. And where can my listeners find your podcast?
Yes, so I am anywhere your ear takes in podcast. The Dear Hallmark podcast is what it's called. And I also have a YouTube channel called Dear Hallmark. So for any reviews that you may not see on the podcast, they will be on the YouTube channel.
Fantastic. Yes, go follow her, Hallmarkies, if you're not already. I know most of you probably already are, but if you're not, do it, because she's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. All right, Hallmarkies. I think that wraps up our review of His and Hers. If you enjoyed this episode and are watching on YouTube, you can like this video and share your thoughts about the movie in the comments. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure to rate and review, as your feedback is always greatly appreciated. If you want to stay up to date on all of my episodes, you can subscribe to this channel on YouTube or follow along on Spotify. And make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when those new episodes come. You can also find the podcast on Instagram at Swing My Heart Podcast and Twitter at Swing My Heart Pod. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, and we will see you next time. We love y'all. Bye.
Bye.